Garrison, BKNY, Scott Cardinal. While all of you argue like little school children about who's gonna face me, guess what? The prize is me, the Big Cat, the DCW heavyweight champion. Now, while I may respect you as athletes, I will destroy you as competitors, because there's not a man walking God's green earth who's my equal. So come June 22nd, whichever one of you is lucky enough to sign on the dotted line, just remember, when the Big Cat locks in that jugular, it's gonna be tap, snap, or nap.
El Sucio, I've heard people say that these two could be the future of professional wrestling. Look at them, they're in fine shape, they're young, they're hungry, and they look the part too.
If they're hungry, then eat a sandwich. You know, it takes a lot more than a good body and some athletic ability to get to the top of this industry. Twink, you should know that.
I know all about that. I know that KHARN Alexander has got a headlock cinched in.
KHARN looks like he could use a sandwich.
Reverse to Joshua Lowry, cinching in that hammerlock. KHARN Alexander reverses the hammerlock. And so does Joshua Lowry. We've got a hammerlock challenge going on here tonight in Seymour, Indiana.
These guys know how to wrestle. That's what they're trained to do. That's their livelihood. They know how to beat you. They know how to pin you. They know how to make you submit.
Double high hip lock takedown, cover. KHARN Alexander still too fresh to lie down for the 3 count.
Twink, I'm sorry though, I gotta say, I've gone quiet long enough. I mean, what's going on here? We got the Professor Gavin Garrison, who's practically a brain surgeon, with an invalid in KHARN Alexander, and Al Barone, wrestling's godfather, watching their back. I mean, are these guys aligned with each other? Is this a one-time deal? Twink, what the heck's going on?
You never know what's going on in Derby City Wrestling. Anything can happen at any time. That's why you need to come to our live shows wherever we are. You need to come to the Davis Arena when we're taping the TV shows, and you need to be wherever DCW is. Anything can happen. All I know is that man, Gavin Garrison, the professor of professional wrestling, always has a plan, and I don't doubt that he knows what's going down here tonight.
Twink, like you said, anything can happen, but for some strange reason, it always does.
Joshua Lowry, he's proven himself tonight. He's reversing out of almost every hold that has been placed upon him. Got a nice hammerlock cinched in on the Professor Gavin Garrison, the only man in the history of the world to have reached self-actualization. As good as you are, Al Sucio, you're nowhere near self-actualization.
Twink, I've self-actualized a couple times in my life. I'm a good wrestler, I'm a great broadcaster. I don't need anything more than that. I mean, look at me.
Touche.
Touche indeed.
Everything you say I can agree with.
Yeah.
On the future of broadcasting, the future of wrestling, and talking about the future, let's talk about Joshua Lowry.
There you go, one more time, calling this kid the future. Who's he beaten? What's he proved? He's got a good body. He looks up to The Undertaker, one of the greatest this business has ever known. But what does that say about him? What does he have?
Only time will tell. Come back to me in 5 years' time and I'll tell you whether I was right or whether I was wrong. Whoa, double team action now. DK and Joshua Lowry shining like stars tonight. Cover, where's the ref? Joe Wheeler, where were you?
Wheeler gets a little winded sometimes. I mean, this Lowry kid and Daryl Kelly, they're two young, good athletes. He might get a little tired trying to keep up with them. I mean, you said it yourself, they're the future.
KHARN Alexander grabbing the tights of Daryl Kelly, enabling him to make that tag into Gavin Garrison. Gavin Garrison, he just put that shoulder right into the stomach of DK Daryl Kelly. Slowing the pace down somewhat now. Has him in a nice side headlock.
You want to talk about the future, you want to talk about the feature presentation, you talk about Gavin Garrison, a man who's been in this business short of 2 years, and look at what he's done in the short time that he's been around. He's impressive.
There's no question that Gavin Garrison does have a bright future in professional wrestling. One of the premier athletes in Derby City Wrestling today.
The future, the sky's the limit for this guy. Do you remember? You were there. You called the match. Do you remember who his first opponent was? Who broke him into our sport?
How could I forget the one and only Joey Matthews, one of the greatest in professional wrestling today, past, present, and future. He came out the short end of that match, but since then he's been on a winning streak like no other.
Like when you start like that, there's no way down, and somehow Josh Lowry, as clumsy as he is, managed to trip over his second left foot.
Look at Gavin Garrison proving he's got not just an intellectual streak, but a mean streak, as he's gouging at the eyes, pulling at the facial features of the pretty boy Joshua Lowry.
You know, KHARN's just hanging tight. He's letting Gavin do all the work, and I don't blame him. I mean, Garrison knows how to go. This guy could go 60, 70, 80 minutes if he wanted to.
If you notice that Albarone is just standing rather stoic on the outside of the ring, he hasn't interfered in this match once. Just his presence alone is enough to put their opponents off. And
sorry to cut you off there, Twinkle Toes. You notice the crowd afraid to stand on their feet behind Albarone. That is a presence. That's fear.
That's a mark of respect towards Albarone as well. And Albarone, one of the most respected men in this business today. Wherever he goes, people stand up and shake his hand. Suplex delivered perfectly by Gavin Garrison onto Joshua Lowry. And you notice the intelligence of Gavin Garrison. He just punished the back of Joshua, and now he's working on that spinal area.
You'd expect nothing less. This Garrison is a true student of the game. He's a ring general in the making, and of course you want to shake Baron's hand. If you don't do it, forget about it.
Gavin Garrison really is proving he's got a mean streak here tonight. Talking about mean streaks. The deranged, rather strange KHARN Alexander. An interesting pick for Gavin Garrison. You know, Gavin Garrison could have had any man he wanted. He chose KHARN Alexander. A man who's definitely had his issues with Richard Cranium as of late. These two want to be friends. Or at least Richard Cranium wants KHARN Alexander to be his friend, but it seems that KHARN Alexander's got one thing up his sleeve. It's not friendship.
KHARN seems to be topsy-turvy right now, kind of like a living yin and yang. He doesn't know one week he wants to be Cranium's best friend, the next week he wants to take over the world. You don't know what you're going to get with this guy. He's definitely a very conflicted young man.
Unpredictable is KHARN Alexander. Just like DCW at its best, unpredictable. You really never know what's going to happen next. And look at DK Darrell Kelly firing up now, taking the fight to KHARN Alexander and to Gavin Garrison. Look at the energy this young lad's got. Irish whip into the corner. Does it again. We're going to see it for a third time. Oh, yes, indeed. And a big back body drop. Cover. This could be it. Oh, if it wasn't for KHARN Alexander, I think we'd have had a win for the two young guys.
You know, and it's a good thing that Lowry tagged out when he did. He could have counted his last light here in the Derby City wrestling ring.
DK Darrell Kelly still on top of this match. Fires off Gavin Garrison. Oh, misses a big splash. Gavin Garrison with a roller. He's using the ropes.
And that's smart. That's the professor. Twinkle Toes, it couldn't have been any sweeter. What a victory, huh?
You cannot take it away from Gavin Garrison, no matter how he does it. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, yes,
whoa.
Finally, you've praised these two enough. Now Albarone's going to make him into mincemeat. Forget about it.
Capiche.